"Get out." I said, "Get out." My mother shoved a trash bag into my arms. My clothes spilled out the top, not even properly packed. She hadn't bothered to zip my suitcase. No explanation. No second chance. No conversation. Just her hand flicking toward the door like I was nothing. The December cold hit me like a slap. I stood on the front steps in socks, my coat still hanging in the hall closet behind her. "You're not welcome here, Haley. Not tonight. Not ever." Through the window, I could see the Christmas tree we decorated together 3 days ago. The lights blinked cheerfully, mocking me. My brother Blake stood in the hallway behind her, arms crossed, saying nothing. Not defending me, not questioning her, just watching. The door slammed shut. I heard the lock click. 7:42 on Christmas Eve, and I was homeless. My name is Haley Breyer, and the night my mother locked that door was the night she unknowingly destroyed everything she'd spent years building. Because my grandmother was watching. And she'd seen enough. I sat in the snow next to the mailbox for 2 hours. My phone stayed silent. No calls, no texts, nothing. Inside, through the glowing windows, I could see my family moving around, laughing, opening gifts a day early like we always did on Christmas Eve, without me. Like I'd never existed. My fingers went numb first, then my toes, but I couldn't make myself move. Where would I even go? Later, I found out my mother had texted the family group chat while I sat freezing outside. "Haley's having one of her episodes. She left. Don't engage with her drama tonight. Let's just enjoy our Christmas." One of her episodes, drama. Like I was the problem. Like I'd chosen to be thrown out on the coldest night of the year. But I wasn't crying from confusion or hurt feelings. I was crying because I finally saw her clearly. No more excuses, no more hoping she'd change. Just the cold, hard truth that my own mother didn't want me. And never really had. My phone buzzed in my frozen hand. Grandma rose. I stared at her name on the screen, unable to answer. It rang again. And again. On the third call, I picked up but said nothing. "Sweetheart," her voice cracked. "Come to me. Right now." "Grandma, Don't argue. Get in your car and drive here. I don't care what she told you. You come home to me." Something in her tone, fierce and protective, broke through my shock. I stood on shaking legs, grabbed my trash bag of clothes, and stumbled to my car. The drive to Grandma's house took 17 minutes. I don't remember a single second of it. Just the lights blurring through my tears. Just the heater finally warming my frozen fingers. Just her porch light glowing like a beacon. When I pulled into her driveway, she was already standing at the door. Waiting. Like she'd known exactly what my mother had done, and had been waiting for me to finally come home. The moment Grandma opened her door, I shattered. The smell of cinnamon rolls. The warmth rushing out to meet me. Her arms already reaching. I collapsed into her, sobbing so hard I couldn't breathe. She didn't ask what happened. Didn't demand explanations or details. She just wrapped a heavy quilt around my shoulders and guided me to the couch. "I know, baby. I know." How did she know? She disappeared into the kitchen and returned with hot chocolate topped with marshmallows, the kind she made when I was little and the world felt too big. I wrapped my hands around the mug, letting the heat seep into my frozen fingers. "Grandma, she threw me out on Christmas Eve." "I know. She said I'm not welcome. Not ever." "I know, sweetheart." "Why does she hate me so much?" Grandma sat beside me, her hand covering mine. "Because you remind her of everything good she's not. And some people can't stand that mirror." I cried until there was nothing left, and Grandma held me through all of it. The way my mother never had. I'd always been the scapegoat. Even as a kid, I knew it. I just didn't have the words for it yet. Blake could do no wrong. He got average grades, skipped chores, talked back. Nothing. Just boys being boys. Me? I got blamed for everything. Dishes left in the sink that Blake used, bad report cards that were actually his. Even my mother's migraines somehow became my fault. "You stress me out, Haley. You're so difficult." I wasn't difficult. I was existing. And apparently that was my crime. I remembered being 12, hiding in my closet during one of her rages, wondering what I'd done wrong. I'd cleaned my room, done my homework, been quiet all day, but she found something. She always found something. Blake would watch from the doorway, relief on his face that it wasn't him this time. Dad tried to intervene once. Just once. She turned on him so viciously that he never did it again. Instead, he'd slip into my room later, sit on my bed, and say quietly, "You're not the problem, Haley. Never forget that. But he died when I was 16, and after that, there was no one left to see. Except Grandma. Christmas morning came without fanfare. I woke up on Grandma's couch, still wrapped in her quilt. My phone had 0 notifications. No Merry Christmas. No Are you okay? Nothing. I opened Instagram, knowing I shouldn't, but unable to stop. There they were. My family, gathered around the tree, matching pajamas, bright smiles. Blake holding up a new gaming console. My mother laughing at something off camera. Aunt Patricia with her kids. Uncle Raymond making funny faces. A perfect Christmas morning, without me. I scrolled through story after story. Not a single frame included me. No mention. No empty chair to mark my absence. Like I'd never existed. Like 23 years of Christmases together had been erased overnight. I set my phone down, hands shaking. Grandma appeared with coffee and homemade cinnamon rolls. They posted, didn't they? I nodded. She sat beside me. Good, let them document their cruelty. The internet never forgets. Her tone was calm, almost satisfied, like she knew something I didn't, like she was already planning something. After breakfast, Grandma disappeared into her bedroom. She returned, carrying a worn leather journal, the edges soft from years of handling. I want to show you something. She opened it carefully. Inside were pages and pages of handwritten notes. Dates, quotes, incidents. My heart sank as I started reading. December 2019, Victoria told Haley she ruined Christmas by asking for art supplies instead of practical gifts. March 2020, overheard Victoria telling Patricia that Haley was exhausting, and she wished Blake had been an only child. July 2021, Victoria blamed Haley for the broken vase that Blake admitted to breaking 2 days later. Never apologized. Page after page, years of documentation, every cruel comment, every dismissal. Every time my mother made me feel small, Grandma had been watching and recording. Why didn't you say anything? I whispered. I did, to her, many times. Grandma's jaw tightened. She told me I was interfering, that I didn't understand modern parenting. She turned to a page from last year. November 2023, Victoria told me Haley would probably end up alone because she's too sensitive. I told her she was cruel. She hung up on me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. You saw everything. Everything. Grandma left the room again and returned with an envelope, yellowed, sealed with my name and handwriting I recognized instantly. Dad's. He gave this to me a month before he died, made me promise to give it to you when the time was right. My hands shook as I opened it. My dearest Haley, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you better while I was here. I saw it. The way your mother treated you differently. The favoritism toward Blake, the casual cruelty she thought I didn't notice. I tried to shield you, but I failed. You need to know, you are not the problem. You never were. Your mother's inability to love you the way you deserve is her failing, not yours. Don't let her break you. You're stronger than she'll ever understand. Kinder than she deserves. And you're gonna build a beautiful life, with or without her approval. I love you, always. Dad, I wept. For the father who'd seen me but died too soon. For the validation I'd needed my whole life. For the words I'd never hear him say aloud. Grandma held me while I cried. He knew, she whispered. We both did. New Year's Eve, my cousin Cameron texted me. Family gathering at Aunt Patricia's. You coming? I shouldn't have gone, but something pulled me there. Maybe curiosity. Maybe masochism. I showed up late, slipping in through the back door. Cameron found me in the kitchen. Hey, glad you made it. He hugged me, then lowered his voice. Your mom said you probably wouldn't come back. My stomach dropped. What else did she say? He glanced around nervously. Just that you'd finally shown your true colors and the family was better off without your drama. She said that? Yeah. But Aunt Rose shut her down hard, said Victoria needed to look in a mirror before throwing stones. I gripped the counter. What did my mom say to that? Nothing, she just left early. Cameron shifted uncomfortably. Look, I don't know what happened at Christmas, but whatever it was, your mom's been trashing you to everyone. I nodded slowly. Thanks for telling me. He squeezed my shoulder and left. I stayed in that kitchen for 20 minutes. Processing. Planning. Realizing my mother wasn't just cruel in private, she was actively destroying my reputation. 2 days into the new year, Grandma called me into her living room. Sit down, we need to talk about something important. Her serious tone made my pulse spike. Your father left you money, a trust fund. Did you know that? I shook my head. No, I thought everything went to Mom after he died. Most of it did, but he set aside $50,000 specifically for you, to be accessed when you turned 21. I was 23. I never got it. I know. Grandma's expression hardened. Because your mother was the trustee, she controlled it until you were old enough. My hands went cold. What happened to it? She's been using it for years. Blake's car? Your trust. The kitchen renovation? Your trust. That trip to Europe she took last year? Your trust. The room tilted. She stole from me? She told me you weren't responsible enough to know about it yet, that she was investing it wisely for your future. I stood up, pacing. How much is left? Grandma Silence answered. Nothing. $1,200 out of $50,000. My mother had stolen nearly my entire inheritance and never planned to tell me. I called her. My hands shook, but my voice stayed calm. Hi, Mom. Haley. Her tone was cold. What do you want? I wanted to ask about the trust fund Dad left me. Silence. Then a laugh. Sharp and dismissive. Whatever your grandmother told you, she's senile. There's no trust fund. Dad's lawyer has the documents. Your father barely left anything. Rose is inventing stories to turn you against me. So there's no $50,000? Another pause. Where did you get that number? From the original trust documents. Her voice turned icy. This conversation is over. Don't call me with this nonsense again. She hung up. I stared at my phone. She didn't even try to explain. Didn't make excuses. Just denied and attacked. I called Grandma back. She denied everything. I know she would. Grandma's voice was steel. That's why we're not asking her anymore. We're telling her. What do you mean? Get dressed. We're meeting someone tomorrow. Who? My estate attorney. I smiled for the first time in days. Okay. The lawyer's office was downtown, elegant and quiet. Patricia Cho welcomed us with warm handshakes and sharp eyes. Mrs. Breyer, Haley, please sit. Grandma settled into her chair like she'd done this 100 times. Patricia, we need to discuss updating my estate plans. Of course. What changes did you have in mind? Grandma's voice was calm, clinical. I'm removing my daughter Victoria as primary beneficiary, effective immediately. Patricia didn't even blink, just made a note. And the new primary beneficiary. My granddaughter Haley. My breath caught. Patricia nodded. Any specific reasoning you'd like documented? Yes. Victoria has demonstrated financial irresponsibility and cruelty toward family members. She's not fit to manage the estate. Patricia wrote everything down. We'll need to draft new documents. It'll take about 2 weeks. That's fine. I sat frozen watching this unfold. Grandma was cutting my mother out. Completely. And doing it with such calm precision that it felt like surgery. After the meeting, I finally spoke. Grandma, are you sure? She squeezed my hand. You take care of people who take care of you. Your mother stopped taking care of you years ago. The will revision happened quietly over the next month. Grandma signed documents, made arrangements, updated beneficiaries. She never told my mother. Just let her keep assuming she'd inherit the house, the savings, everything. Patricia called with updates every few days. Everything's finalized. The estate now goes to Haley upon your mother's passing. Victoria is listed only as a contingent beneficiary if something happens to Haley. Grandma smiled. Perfect. I felt strange about the whole thing. Excited, yes. Validated? Absolutely. But also guilty. Grandma, what if this makes things worse with Mom? She looked at me with tired, knowing eyes. Things can't get worse, sweetheart. She already threw you out in the snow on Christmas Eve. She already stole your inheritance. She already poisoned the family against you. She took my hand. This isn't about revenge. It's about protection. I won't leave my life's work to someone who'd destroy you with it. And suddenly, I understood. This wasn't cruelty. This was love. The fierce, protective kind that doesn't bend to manipulators. The kind my mother never showed me, but Grandma always had. Blake's birthday was in early March. He turned 26. My mother texted me out of nowhere. Blake's party is Saturday at 3. You should come. I stared at the message for a long time. No apology for Christmas, no acknowledgement of what she'd done. Just an invitation, like nothing had happened. I showed Grandma. Go, she said. What? Why? Because I want to see how they behave when you show up, and I'm coming with you. So we went. The house was decorated with balloons and streamers, family everywhere. The moment I walked in, the energy shifted. Fake smiles, forced hugs. Haley, so good to see you. We missed you. But behind me I heard the whispers. Can't believe she actually came. Probably just here for free food. Grandma heard it too. Her jaw tightened. Blake barely acknowledged me. Just a quick hey before returning to his friends. My mother played the perfect hostess. Warm, gracious, until the guests weren't looking. Then her eyes turned cold every time they landed on me. Grandma saw everything, and I knew she was filing it all away. Evidence, documentation, proof. Halfway through the party, my mother pulled me aside. Into the kitchen, away from everyone else. Her smile vanished. Let's be clear about something. I crossed my arms. What? You're only here because Grandma wanted you here. When she's gone, you're gone too. The words hit like ice water. You think I don't know you're trying to get in her good graces? Playing the victim? I kept my voice steady. I'm not playing anything. Sure. She stepped closer. But remember, I'm her daughter. You're just the granddaughter. Blood beats sentiment every time. I smiled then, because she had no idea. Grandma had already rewritten everything. My mother was already cut out. She just didn't know it yet. We'll see, I said quietly. She studied my face, looking for weakness. Found none. Get out of my house. It's Blake's birthday. I said get out. I left without arguing. Grandma followed minutes later. In the car, she gripped the steering wheel tight. That woman is going to regret every word she's ever said to you. April brought a scare. Grandma had chest pains. We rushed to the emergency room at 2 a.m. It turned out to be nothing serious, just stress and heartburn. But the hospital called the family contact list. Suddenly, everyone showed up. My mother arrived in full makeup, tears streaming dramatically. Mom! Oh my God, Mom! She threw herself at Grandma's bedside, sobbing. Aunt Patricia clutched tissues. Uncle Raymond paced nervously. All of them suddenly concerned. But I'd been there since the ambulance ride. I'd held Grandma's hand through the EKG and the blood tests. I'd been the one she called first. My mother didn't even look at me. Just performed her grief for the doctors and nurses. When the doctor said Grandma would be fine, relief washed through the room. My mother immediately started talking about next steps and making sure Mom's affairs are in order. Grandma just squeezed my hand and said nothing because she knew what I knew. Her affairs were already in perfect order, just not the way my mother expected. Going through Grandma's phone a week later, helping her delete spam, I found something, an old voicemail from my mother, dated 3 years ago. I almost deleted it, but Grandma's hand stopped me. Play it. I pressed play. My mother's voice filled the room, screaming, "Stop spoiling that brat! She's manipulating you! Everything is always about Haley. What about Blake? What about me?" Grandma's calm voice responded, "Victoria, Haley is a good kid who... She's not. She's dramatic and needy, and you're feeding into it. I will not tolerate... You never take my side. You always protect her. I'm your daughter." The voicemail ended with my mother hanging up. I stared at the phone. "You kept this?" "I kept all of them." She showed me a folder. Dozens of voicemails. Years of my mother's rage, documented. "I'm taking these to Patricia tomorrow," Grandma said quietly. "Why? Because when Victoria tries to contest my will, and she will, I want proof of why I made my decisions." She looked at me. "This isn't cruelty, it's protection." And I finally understood the weight Grandma carried. Loving a daughter who'd become a monster, while protecting a granddaughter from becoming collateral damage. Easter dinner at Grandma's house was tense from the start. The whole family gathered. 20 people around the table. My mother sat at one end, playing matriarch. Grandma sat at the other, quiet and watchful. Halfway through dinner, Grandma stood. Everyone went quiet. "I have an announcement." My mother smiled, probably thinking this was about medical updates or holiday plans. Grandma's voice was clear and strong. "When I pass, whenever that day comes, my estate will go only to family members who protected and honored this family, not those who tore it apart." The room froze. Aunt Patricia set down her fork. Uncle Raymond cleared his throat uncomfortably. My mother's smile cracked. "Mom, what are you?" "I've updated my will. Everything is in order. I just wanted everyone to know." She sat back down. Conversation slowly resumed, but the tension was thick enough to choke on. My mother didn't speak for the rest of dinner. Just stared at Grandma, then at me. Her expression was pure calculation, trying to figure out what had changed, who had influenced this. And I knew she blamed me. My mother cornered me in the kitchen while I was washing dishes. What did you do? I kept scrubbing a plate. I don't know what you mean. Don't play games. You turned her against me. I set down the plate and faced her. I didn't turn her against anyone. You did that yourself. I'm her daughter. And I'm her granddaughter. And she watched you throw me out on Christmas Eve. Watched you steal my inheritance. Watched you poison the family against me. My mother's face went red. You wouldn't dare take everything from me. I'm not taking anything. Grandma is choosing who she trusts with her legacy. She stepped closer, voice dropping to a hiss. You're not cruel enough to cut out your own mother. I met her eyes steadily. No, I'm just not you. Her hand twitched like she wanted to slap me, but Grandma appeared in the doorway. Victoria, leave her alone. My mother's expression shifted instantly, sweetness replacing rage. We're just talking, Mom. No, you're not. Grandma's tone left no room for argument. My mother left the kitchen, and I exhaled. 3 weeks later, Grandma handed me a sealed envelope. Don't open this now. Open it later, when you need it. What is it? A letter. For you. For after. Her meaning was clear. After she was gone, I started to protest. Grandma, you're fine. I'm 78 years old with a heart condition. I'm prepared, you should be too. She kissed my forehead. I love you, sweetheart. Always remember that. I tucked the letter away and tried not to think about a world without her in it. But 2 months later, in early July, Grandma's heart gave out, peacefully, in her sleep. I was staying with her that weekend. I found her in the morning, still and quiet, finally at rest. And I broke. The woman who'd seen me, believed me, protected me, gone. I opened the letter through tears. My darling Haley, if you're reading this, I'm dancing with your grandfather again. Don't be sad for too long. Everything I did because I love you. Your mother may contest my decisions. She may fight. Let her. You are worthy of everything I'm leaving you. Not because of money, but because you have something she never will. A good heart. Live beautifully. Love freely. And never let anyone make you feel small again. You were always enough. Grandma. The funeral was packed. Grandma had touched so many lives. My mother showed up in designer black and pearls, playing the grieving daughter perfectly, sobbing at the podium during her eulogy. My mother was my whole world. I sat in the front row, dry-eyed, not because I wasn't grieving, but because I'd already cried myself empty, and I knew what was coming. The will reading was scheduled for the following week. Patricia had called me personally. Are you prepared for this? As prepared as I can be. Your grandmother left very detailed documentation. Victoria won't be able to contest without looking foolish. She'll try anyway. I know, but we're ready. I hung up and stared at Grandma's house, soon to be my house. The final gift from the only person who'd truly loved me unconditionally. And my mother had no idea. She was about to lose everything. And she'd done it to herself. The will reading took place in Patricia's office. My mother arrived early, dressed like she was attending a business merger. Confident, composed. She sat in the chair like a queen waiting for her crown. Aunt Patricia and Uncle Raymond came. Blake, a few cousins, everyone expecting the standard division of assets. Patricia opened the file. Thank you all for coming. Rose Breyer's last will and testament was updated on January 15th of this year. My mother's smile flickered. January 15th was after Christmas. Patricia continued reading. Properties, savings accounts, investment portfolios. Then, all primary assets, including the residential property, savings accounts, and investment portfolios, are bequeathed to Haley Breyer. You could hear a pin drop. My mother's face went white. What? Patricia continued calmly. Victoria Breyer is listed as a contingent beneficiary only if Haley predeceases her mother. Otherwise, she receives a token sum of $5,000. That's impossible. The will is legally sound and witnessed by 3 independent parties. My mother stood up. She was manipulated. Haley poisoned her against me. Patricia pulled out a folder. Mrs. Breyer anticipated this. She left extensive documentation explaining her decision. She began reading excerpts from Grandma's journal. Every incident, every cruelty. My mother's face cycled through shock, rage, humiliation. Blake stared at me like he'd never seen me before. The room was silent when Patricia finished. Any contest will be met with this documentation, plus recorded voicemails and witness testimonies. My mother grabbed her purse and walked out without another word. The next 2 weeks were chaos. My mother hired a lawyer, filed a contest claiming undue influence. Patricia responded with a 60-page brief, including Grandma's journals spanning 3 years, voice recordings of my mother's verbal abuse, testimony from Cameron and other family members, medical records proving Grandma was mentally sound, emails showing my mother's theft from my trust fund. The judge reviewed everything and dismissed my mother's case in under 20 minutes. Mrs. Breyer made her intentions abundantly clear. This will stand. My mother tried to argue. The judge cut her off. Your mother documented 3 years of concerning behavior on your part. She had every right to distribute her estate as she saw fit. He banged his gavel. Dismissed. My mother left the courtroom, face blotchy with rage and tears. Blake followed her. Neither of them looked at me. Patricia shook my hand. It's over. The house is yours. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I just felt tired and sad. That it had come to this. That my mother's cruelty had cost her everything, and she'd never understand it was her own fault. I moved into Grandma's house in September. The neighbors welcomed me warmly. Rose talked about you constantly, Mrs. Chen from next door said. She was so proud of you. Old friends of Grandma's stopped by with casseroles and condolences. She always said you'd end up with the house, said you were the only one who truly loved it. I walked through the rooms slowly, each one filled with memories. The kitchen where we baked cookies, the living room where she taught me to knit, the garden where we planted roses together. This house wasn't just an inheritance, it was home. The home my mother's house never was. I found Grandma's gardening journal and started planning next spring's flowers. Exactly the way she would have wanted. Cameron visited one afternoon. Hey, just wanted to check on you. I'm okay. Your mom's not talking to anyone. Blake either. I know. Does that bother you? I thought about it. No, not anymore. He hugged me. Good, you deserve peace. And he was right. I did. I didn't gloat, didn't post on social media about my inheritance. Didn't rub my mother's face in what she'd lost. Instead, I renovated Grandma's garden, planted new roses in her favorite colors, built a bench with a plaque, in loving memory of Rose Breyer, who saw beauty in everyone. I established a scholarship fund in Grandma's name, for students who'd overcome family hardship. Kids like me, who needed someone to believe in them. The first recipient wrote me a letter. Thank you for seeing me. I cried reading it, because those were the words I'd needed my whole life. My mother texted me once, 3 months after the will reading. We should talk. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I deleted it, without responding, because silence is the loudest justice. She'd spent years making me feel invisible. Now I was returning the favor, not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. I'd built a life Grandma would be proud of, filled with love, purpose, and peace. And my mother's approval? I didn't need it anymore. I never really had.